Hello and welcome to a VO's Journey podcast. My name is Anthony Pica, and this show is all about helping the new and upcoming voiceover artists grow their business and sidestep all of the crazy things that I seem to step on. Tonight, I am going to be doing something a little bit different. So for the longest time, many people have asked me to upload some of the video content onto my podcast for those who can't listen to it or they miss it, and I get this often. I don't do it. Honestly, I'm so sorry to say. I think I'm being lazy. So I want to make sure it was brought up to me again tonight. So I want to make sure that I upload some video content so that I can keep the podcast full of things for you to listen to. And again, if you're missing the videos that I do on a regular daily basis, you can get that information here. So this particular video is from a Fiverr Friday that I did recently, and this is about gig marketing and, how important it is to really dive into the entire idea of getting your stuff seen, getting yourself out there, and making sure that you have enough actual gigs on board to get business. All right? Well, thank you for listening, and let's do it.
This is VO's Journey. With your host, the incomparable Anthony Pica.
There's so many things going on Fiverr, and I'm excited to talk about it today. We had that video yesterday where we were talking about Fiverr adding the new pay-per-click option, which is super exciting. I want to welcome everybody coming in on Instagram. What's up? Insta, and then we've got people over on YouTube and Facebook and Twitter. Thank you guys so much for coming. It's great to have you. So we had that great video yesterday, I think, on talking about the pay-per-click option on Fiverr, and I found some more information out about that last night, and basically it's like we thought, except it seems as if Fiverr is going to be perhaps one of the things we talked about was we didn't know how it was going to affect, the legitimacy of Fiverr. If anybody, even if they maybe weren't up to par, could be up in the front row. And it seems as if Fiverr is going to be trying to promote or trying to bring in people to this program that meet a certain criteria internally, which seems to be, I think, based on whether Fiverr thinks you're going to be able to do a good job or not. So I'm assuming that's going to be based off of your stats and things like that. So I don't think this is actually going to roll out to everybody, which is good and not good. But, I think it's only going to roll out to a certain amount of people. I have not gotten an invitation myself yet. So, but I was assured that I should see one, but we'll see what happens. So, I don't know. Maybe they'll spread it around. Maybe they'll have options where people can, only a certain amount of people can participate at one time. I don't know. We will see, but I just wanted to give you that update. It doesn't look like it's going to be available to everybody. It just looks like it's going to be available to some of the sellers that Fiverr thinks will do a good job if they were in the front spots. So, I'm interested to see how that pans out. But anyways, I just wanted to give you that update and kind of dive in today. First off, I want to just let everybody know, if you haven't had a chance, please hit the subscribe button, hit that bell notification. And if you're on Twitter or Instagram or Facebook, please like, share, maybe share with your story, whatever you can, give some love. I'd appreciate that. But anyways, we're going to talk about Fiverr today. We're going to talk about gig marketing today. And I think this is a big thing, right? Because of course, the number one question overall is always, look, Anthony, how do I get business? Okay. And recently there's been a lot of discussion, I think, about the legitimacy of business and coaches too, as we know, with Bill DeWeese has been posting a lot of stuff on that, and I love Bill. So, but I wanted to talk to you today about the importance of pushing yourself on Fiverr to actually get as much business from that platform as possible. You know me, I love this show. I can be lighthearted, I can be serious, but I kind of want to go a little bit serious with you right now and kind of just be honest with all of you, okay? I truly believe, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, I truly believe that you can make an amazing amount of money on Fiverr. I really do, because I've done it, I'm doing it, I'm coaching a lot of people who are doing it. I'm in a group called Fiverr Elite. We meet every Saturday morning. We meet tomorrow morning. There's a bunch of people in that group that are doing it. You can make a lot of money on Fiverr. There's no doubt in my mind. But I also coach a lot of people who are just starting out, and they're struggling with a few key things when it comes to marketing their gigs or getting themselves up. There's really a couple parts to this, but the main part I want to talk about today is I want you to really ask yourself, are you taking this seriously? And I don't mean that to be mean. I mean, because I know we all want to be successful, but I mean, are you actually filling out the entirety of your options on Fiverr? So let me tell you what I mean. If you're just starting out on Fiverr, you get 7 gigs that you could put up. Most people I coach, or let me rephrase, most people that come to me because I offer a review service, I do reviews for people to review their gig on my website, and a lot of these reviews I do, the voiceover artists, their performances are great, but they might have 1 gig up, and it might be kind of halfway filled out, and they're like, oh, well, I got to get to that, or I'm going to get to that, and they're frustrated because they can't get work. And then I work with a lot of other people who have spent the time to put up all the gigs they can, and they have more work than they can handle. All right. Very rarely do I come across someone who A, needs my service, but B, who is working with me, who has every single gig filled out. Meaning, like, from top to bottom, all their FAQs are filled out, all of their extras are put together correctly, their description is put together as sales copy, their all their samples, their title, their pricing, all their tags, everything is pristine. Very rarely do I come across someone who has done all of those things and filled out the 7 if you're just starting, the 10 if you're level 1. By the way, on a side note, I do want to. I'm getting off topic real quick, but it's not off topic. Not off topic. I want to congratulate everyone who made it to level 1, everyone who made it to level 2. Oh, I dropped my pen. All those people who have went up in the rankings. If you made it a top-rated seller, congratulations. Today is the day that you find out about that. So we had a bunch of people in our group putting off and showing off. So I just want to say congrats to everybody. It takes a lot of hard work, and it means a lot, and I'm proud of you all. So good job. Keep up the good work, and nicely done. But anyways, getting back to what I was saying is that, all of those sections that I'm talking about filling out, they are really important. All right. And we go into gig marketing here. This is the most important aspect of your entire Fiverr marketing strategy, okay, is that you've got to fill out every single piece of what you have available. And you keep filling out all of your stuff. You keep adding gigs until you can't get any more, until you can't do any more, right? Meaning like for example, I have, as a top-rated seller, I'm allowed 30 gigs. I don't have 30 gigs because at this point, if I added more gigs, I don't think I could keep up with the work that I have. Does that make sense? Okay. But if you are not getting all the work that you can get, you need to it's a simple idea. Okay. I'm going to tell you exactly what you need to do right now. And we talk about this a lot in the Fiverr Elite group that we meet with, like I said, that we meet every Saturday. This is a big focus, but I'm going to give you, I don't have time to dive into it as fully as we do in that group, but I'm going to give you the big speech here. All right. You need to come up with every single gig offering that you can put up on Fiverr. You need to make them. And this is how you do it. Okay. You're going to take a tone like conversational, or maybe if you're a male, maybe you do deep, or something like that. Or if you're a female, you know what I mean, you could do deep as well, or you could do something else. But whatever tone that you want to do, I usually recommend 1 to 2 tones. Okay, deep, nurturing, conversational. They have a list of at least 20 or so on Fiverr that you can pull from. I'm talking about how you're going to title your gig now. You're wondering, okay, Anthony, you want me to create 7 gigs? What do I put up? Right? So you're going to put up, your title is going to have 1 to 2 tones and then a category, and Fiverr lists them as purpose. So for example, video narration, that's the #1 searched category on Fiverr, and it's the most that people have ticked for good reason, because it's the most of the work we do, right? Because whether it's broadcast or non-broadcast rights, or whatever that we're doing, most of everything on the internet runs through some sort of video narration, unless it's e-learning or podcast, but still, or phone messaging, etc. But all the rest of it, right, is video narration. So anyways, there's video narration. So that's one of the 9 that are available. Okay. So what you do is you take one of those, you take 1 to 2 tones and the word voiceover, and you put it together. So like I have, I will record a deep and conversational video narration voiceover. That's my title for one of my gigs. And it's done fantastic. And if you look up deep voiceover, I'm usually #1 or #2 on that. And the reason why that's important is because we're targeting the longer tail keywords. Most people I come across, they're like, okay, I'm ready to do this Fiverr thing. I've I've eaten the sauce. I'm ready to go for it. And I'm going to go on there and I'm going to put American male voiceover or American female voiceover. Right. And those generic terms, meaning like we'll do everything. Okay. That's not a bad thing to have that. But the reality is that is the most highest searched term. I mean, you have the most competition there. You are not going to be able to stand out when you just start. Okay. Which is why, again, this pay-per-click thing was such a big deal, right? Because, it could help people to move to the front of the line. And I think it will help some people do that. But you want to try to find the long tail keywords. And we've talked about this, but the reason why I'm bringing it up is because I really believe, and again, this is from the bottom of my heart, you guys, you really actually have to do it. Okay. I want you to make money. I want you to be successful. I don't want it to be a pipe dream for you. I don't want it to be a hobby where you spend way more money than you make. You can make more than enough money. Now, I'm not a big proponent of being on one platform only. You know me, the plan is to spread out to 20 or 30 different websites where you're fully filled out. But here's the thing, you got to start one place. I recommend you start first on Fiverr, but you got to fill everything else out. And I'm telling you, I'm seeing so many people not doing this. And if you are one of them, okay, you cannot conclusively say Fiverr is working or not working yet because you've not done everything you can do. Same thing with another, like people per hour. And that's been coming up just recently, because yesterday I got a job for like $55 on people per hour. Right, it was just a short couple word job, and nice job. And I hadn't been on there forever, right? And I had done some work months and months ago because I was testing out their pay-per-click and their kind of stuff too. But they don't actually do pay-per-click. They do pay-per-view, like putting you in a certain spot. Okay. Anyways, the point is that on people per hour, I have a few things up there, but I don't have everything available, right? I mean, like I don't have all the videos I could put up there. I don't have all the offerings I could put up there. I'm not doing everything I can to do on that platform to maximize my visibility. Here's another thing. I'm going to mention it. Okay. And I know we all have mixed feelings about it, but voices.com. Okay. I'm not a big advocate for auditioning. You know that. I don't like the way that auditioning is going right now for many of us because there's so many people. It's just the cattle call on those sites. However, you can be booked on those sites, right? You can get private auditions, but you have to be seen. And here's another example. If you're on voices.com and you feel like you're not getting a lot of work, here's my challenge to you. I would ask, how many samples do you have up? 10, 15? Most people I work with have about 7 maybe 7 to 10 samples on there. All right. I've seen some people towards the top of the list and stuff on voices.com that have 60, 70, 80 samples. Point I'm trying to make is that I think a lot of us are spinning our wheels trying to figure out what the magic formula is. Do you know what I mean? Like what's the magic formula to make it in VO? Okay. And quite honestly, the magic formula is this. I'm going to give it to you right now. Get yourself on 20 websites that are selling voiceover services. Each website you get on, fill it out to the brim. Your profile, the samples. If it allows you to put 100 samples, you put 100 samples. If it allows you to put 30, you put all 30. You fill out every aspect. You fill out the studio. You fill out pictures. You fill out whatever you need to fill out. You fill out the education piece. You fill out all of the tags. You do whatever you need to do on all 20 of those websites. Okay? You fill all of them out to the brim. Yes, you're going to have to create samples. Yes, you're going to have to create this and that. But you guys, that's the key. That's it. That is the key. If you did that, I guarantee you would have amazing success. And the wonderful thing about that is, if you do that and you're still struggling to get business, that identifies to you that it is not your exposure. On Fiverr, the whole idea here is getting you seen. Then once you're seen, getting you clicked on. And once you're clicked on, getting people to purchase from you. Those are the 3 things. If you can do those 3 things well, all right, you'll never want for work. Getting yourself seen is typically the hardest thing in our internet world, right? Well, on Fiverr, the more gigs you put up, the more opportunities you have to be seen. The more websites you're on and the more samples and things you put up there, the more opportunities. Do you see where I'm going with this? The more opportunities you have to be seen. I promise you guys, it really actually isn't rocket science. It's not some mystery. Now, social media, email marketing, phone calls, all of these things, they're wonderful and they do work. But we should not put the things that are working the most on hold to try something else. And you are going to get the biggest bang for your buck right now, leveraging, I love that word leverage, leveraging the immense amount of marketing and marketing dollars that these sites like Fiverr, like all of them, like Upwork, like Voquent, like people per hour. I mean, even voices.com or voice123. I'm all about being on those websites if they bring me business that I don't have to constantly audition for. And the only way I'm going to know that is if I put, put 100 samples on voices.com. Why not? Because those samples you can put everywhere else too, right? Why not? I mean, and if you got 1 to 2 to 3 jobs a month on voices.com on top of it, here's a perfect example, right? If you're on 20 sites and you filled everything out and did everything, like literally, filled everything out to the point where they're like contacting you saying, please stop putting up samples. Our system can't hold anymore. I'm serious. Okay. You do that. And then let's imagine 20. Okay. Let's imagine you get a job, all right, from each particular time. Okay, then that means that you're going to actually be able to be working pretty much nonstop. Does that make sense? It's really not rocket science, but you can do it. And it really boils down to, are you filling out everything to the letter? Okay, that is really it. All right. So, I just got notified my air conditioner's here. That's wonderful. That's okay. I will get it. Thank you. That's the wonderful things about live. So I ordered an air window. Look, I was on a roll, and then the air conditioner arrives. Go figure. I'm in my studio is upstairs, and I have my own office studio space, and it gets warm up here. Is the way my house is. Anyways, the point is, I got off topic. But I hope that was good. Maybe we can take it down a little bit easier now. But the whole point is, after that whole spiel to you, I hope that it can help you focus. Because I know I can get up here and I can be like, oh, wow, I can watch a video and be like, man, that looks like a really cool thing to do. I'm going to try that. Or today I really wanted to send a few emails, and then I've found, oh, somebody responded to me. That's great. Or this or that, all these different things happen. But in the meantime, I'm not really doing the main things that are going to make me the most amount of money in the shorter period of time. Sometimes we really have to. I was working with one of my awesome students last night, and we were talking about, kind of diving into your engine, if you will, and throwing out all of the parts that you don't need, right? Because we can get cluttered, just like our lives. We can get cluttered with so many things. Okay. But it's also comes from that book. What is the biggest thing that you need to do right now to be successful? Like one thing. What is the most thing? Why am I messing this up? What is the number one thing? There you go. What is the number one thing you need to do right now to be the most successful? There you go. I made a coherent sentence. Yay! A coherence. I'm going to stop and breathe for a second. If I get excited, I start messing up. Okay. Anyways, what is that one thing? And that's what you need to ask yourself. And in this particular situation, I firmly believe that your one thing right now is filling out these sites, starting with Fiverr. If you don't have all of those, you are not using that platform to its fullest. Once you have done all of that, every single section, okay, every single corner. Once you have done that, you move on to the next. Here's a little tip, and I'm going to give this to you, and I really believe this. I would rather you spend all of your time putting samples on these sites, filling out your profiles, filling out the tags, filling out the descriptions, filling out everything, than auditioning, than sending, making phone calls, making emails. Don't get me wrong, because I've put out a lot of content on making phone calls and doing emails. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm just saying that right now, in our current framework of the world and what's happening, you are not going to be able to leverage more than using these websites like Fiverr. You just can't do it. I don't have $500,000 a month to spend in the US to market my business online. That's like what Fiverr spends. Probably getting way closer to $1 million per month just in the US. We don't have that money. I don't. So you have to be able to leverage that. And if you're not doing it all, you're losing out. All right. I'm saying the same thing over and over again now. So anyways, the Fiverr Friday, sometimes I take a lot more questions. Sometimes I talk a lot more. So in this case, I kind of went off on the rails. I hope you bear with me. Nice lid. Thank you very much. I appreciate that, Dan. Dan. I want to welcome everybody again over on Instagram, over on YouTube and Facebook and Twitter. This Fiverr Friday is also about you asking questions. It's a Q&A session. As always, I like to open it up. I always try to answer questions, but Fiverr Friday is always more specifically about Fiverr. So if you've got any questions, comments, thoughts about what I just talked about, thoughts about what you're working on, your focus, what's happening. If you want to do a shout out and say you reached a level today, please feel free to do so. We'll give you a nice congrats. Let's see. Flyer here. Eric, what's up? Greetings, dispenser of knowledge. And everyone, good to see you, my friend Jeremy. What's up, Jeremy? Martin, it's great to see you. Wolf Creek Training and Consulting. What's up? Clint, good to see you. Dave, what's up? Yes, the swag. Kai, hello. Nick, what's up, my man? Oscar, hey Anthony, hope you are good, brother. Are you doing any Fiverr gig reviews soon? So Oscar, if you do, you mean like through here? I usually try to reserve them for either the service that I do on my website, or if you're a part of the Fiverr Elite group. In the Fiverr Elite group, we do reviews every week, and everybody gets to watch it and participate as well. So either way, but sometimes I do them here, but I haven't planned on doing any time soon just because I do them there. But good question, Oscar. Tom, hello, what's up? Angela, hello, Angela. Good to see you. Clint, level 2. Congrats, Clint. That's awesome. Zach, what's up? Zach, my man. Queen Princess, level 1. Congratulations, Queen Princess. Clint, congrats, and everyone the same. Nick, Dave, Fiverr Frate just did an ad for a app called Swiftly. Teehee. Because I'm afraid to change my gig titles. I heard it makes it harder to find in the search. Okay. Good question about gig titles. I've changed my gig title so much, it doesn't matter. It doesn't. And here's a little tip too. This is an interesting thing. You can actually go on someone's gig, and then if you look up in the address section, right, of the browser, that never changes. So you can see if somebody actually changed their gig title, and what you'll find is most people have changed their gig titles, and it's actually quite comical to see. Like, if you looked at my gig titles, you'd be like, what was he thinking, right? Because this was years ago. I didn't know what I was doing. I've changed my gig titles over time, so don't stress about that. You know what I mean? Really, don't stress about your gig title and changing it, because I do whatever I got to do. You know what I mean? So I've changed my gig titles many times. Some I haven't, some I have. It's gone through many iterations, especially my main one, which is American Male Voiceover. But remember, American Male Voiceover for me has gone through years of effort, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of reviews. You know, I've done thousands of voiceovers there. You know what I mean? I've got 1,000+ reviews. It's a different scenario. So don't put all of your money in that particular section. I would spread out like I mentioned. Okay. Let's see. Good stuff. Thank you. Thank you, Buttercup. Greg, what's up? Please list those 20 websites on the Facebook page. Absolutely. And you know what? Actually, Greg, I'll do one better for you. And maybe I'll link the video. But Voquint put out a video. It's the 101 websites that are like the top 101 voiceover websites. You know, some are free, some are paid for, and some are like casting or non-exclusive agencies, production companies, etc. You could just type that into YouTube and it comes up, and it's literally like just 1, 2, 3, 4, and it goes, and you can see them. And when I found that video a while ago, I literally started and I just put it into the browser and I would search and I would just start getting on them. But you know what? I will definitely put up something on my website, I think, as well, Greg, and we can put it, and I'll link that in the in Facebook as well. So thanks for that one. Also, saturation of you and your brand is the key. That is the truth. That is the truth. And in this particular case, this goes ahead, Greg, with what we're trying to say. The only way you can do that effectively, quickly, is by leveraging all of these different sites, because it takes time, you guys. I don't know how long it took you to find me, but I mean, I've been at social media for a couple years now. All right. And I'm just, and now finally, after years, I'm starting to see my numbers growing faster. I'm reaching more people. It takes a while because I did it without spending money. Spending money can speed up the process, but I don't have that kind of money to spend going up against like Fiverr. So instead of fighting them, don't fight them, join them. And that's unfortunately why a lot of people are failing, because a lot of people are fighting sites like Fiverr and these other sites, and they're just they're not gonna be able to beat them. Let's see. This list is a good idea, Greg. Yeah, yep. I don't know, but 3 or 4 or so. And you know what, Greg? Thank you for bringing that back up. I think that I will make an effort to put my own list together, because there are some things on that video that I think it is a lot of it's geared towards the UK, because Voquint is a UK based business. So I will definitely do that. That's another reason why I put together the rate guide on a VO's journey, because I think the rate guide is important for us too, because by the way, if you didn't know, there's a rate. I've spent a lot of time researching and putting together a rate guide for I don't know, the every person, if you will. You know what I mean? Like things that are realistically happening to us as freelancers and entrepreneurs and voiceover artists today, and tried to make it to where you could really price your stuff realistically, as opposed. And I'm not saying anything bad about the other guides out there. They're great. Just I noticed that for me, those guides were just not realistic. So I wanted to make a guide for what I was seeing actually happening in the freelance world that we all live in. So you can check that out on VOsJourney.com. It's pretty helpful, I think. All right, so let's see. Hi, Anthony. 2 weeks ago, I found myself on the first page in searches, and I got orders like crazy. I was never even close to the first page in the past. Is it possible I was used as a test? Yeah. Yeah, Frank, it is possible. Absolutely possible. But also Fiverr does cycle people around. Fiverr does cycle people around. Okay. Okay, so we got let's see. Dane, sorry. And it's Dane, isn't it? Dane says, how do you manage your workflow? Good question. So there's a couple of different ways that you can do it, and depending on how busy you are. But now I'm assuming you mean workflow as in like voiceovers coming in on Fiverr, or just like general workflow. But I'll imagine you mean like how do I manage the voiceovers. So the positive thing is Fiverr does a lot of the work for you in the way they set everything up, like the time when it needs to happen and all that kind of stuff and all those things. But when it gets out of hand, I have also, and this comes from Red Horrocks, who I did. She's been a top rated seller on Fiverr forever and does an insane amount of work on Fiverr, like 600 or 700 jobs a month, which is insane. But she came up with and it's on my podcast when I interviewed her. She came up with a system in which she has a spreadsheet document, and basically people, you get the work comes in, and you fill out this document by putting the work into the document. And I created my own. Now, she didn't give any secrets about how the document was made, so I made my own. And basically what I do is, and I could probably actually even share that with people too. But what I do too is I find that if I can go into my booth, like let's say you got like 10 voiceovers to do, but you want to do a lot of other stuff during the day. A lot of us will record, we'll do something, then we'll go back and we'll do this, we'll submit it, we'll write a couple things, and you know what I mean? Like it takes time. But what if you could go and you got everything set up in a manner in which you can record one, record another, and you do all of your recordings one after the other, all right? Then you come back and you submit them. Okay, it speeds up the process, right? So anyways, I think that's a way, and that's a way too that you can actually do the workflow too, and you fill out a worksheet and a spreadsheet with different blocks, like directions on this particular one, and you're basically creating a system to speed up the process. So I did that as well, but a lot of times I don't have to do that. But I've used that in the past when I get super busy. That's how I keep up with it. I hope that helps. Okay, so let's see. Opinionated male smart men rock. Okay, I like that. That's a funny name. New Fiverr VO seller here. Newbie to VO as well. Welcome to the greatest show on earth. I've watched several of your videos over the last few weeks. Seriously love and appreciate your informational content. Extremely helpful. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And welcome again. Clint, you need that AC Anthony. Your advice. You and I'd get along, Clint. I love your sense of humor. Let's see. Martin says, I wonder why some voiceovers have hundreds of orders on their profiles, but have no Fiverr seller level. It seems strange. Well, actually, bro, I'll tell you why, Martin, because when you, in order to move up the rank with being the seller statuses, you have to maintain a certain things, right? You have to maintain response rate. You have to maintain completion rate. You have to maintain a bunch of things. And if those drop, you can actually go down in the rankings. Now, when you get clientele over a period of time, they become they'll keep coming back to you. I have many clients, because I've been on Fiverr for years now, right? I have many clients that come back to me every single month and they purchase from me every month. It's very nice, that repeat business, right? So even if I moved down to level 1, okay, they would still come and work with me, even though my stats could be changed because, I had had a whole bunch of stuff at night and I didn't respond. And that happens sometimes. You'll see sometimes top rated sellers too move down. Oh, sorry, Instagram, I got paused there. You'll see some people move down a ranking and move back up a ranking, and it happens sometimes. So that, hopefully that answers your question. Let's see. Philip says level 1 today. Congrats, John. That's awesome. TJ, what's up? Leroy, what's up? Zach, level 2 today. Congrats, Zach. That's awesome. Frank, how long would it take you to complete a 2,000 word script for a YouTube project, like a top 10 list? Top 10 biggest sharks in the world as an example. Any advice on how to complete that job faster? Okay, cool. Good idea, or good question, Frank. So think about it. I always like to break down things in 10,000 word increments because, I started in audiobooks. So there was a period of time where all I did, I felt like it was quote people, audiobook quotes, because I did a lot of audiobooks. So on ACX, 9,300 words or so is considered an hour, but because I wanted to make my life easier, I moved it to 10,000. So if I think about 10,000 is 60 minutes, all right, if you move 2,000 out of 10 is going to be what? That's going to be 5. All right. So, if you divide 5 into 60, what are you going to get? 15, 30, 60, 15. So you're probably going to get it's probably going to be 10 to 15 minutes max, maybe. Okay, so if that's how much time it's going to take you to record that, depending on whether or not you can pronounce those words, you should be able to do something like that within 30 minutes, 45 minutes. But see, this is where your DAW and how well you process. Do you do any pre-processing? Like a lot of my work now, the reason why I'm able to move so quickly is because I do a lot of pre-processing because I have equipment that allows me to do a lot of editing, a lot of EQing and compression before it's even recorded. So that when I go back in, I have to do very little to my audio to make it perfect. Whereas when I first started, I had to do huge amounts of post editing and post cleaning up things, right? Like after I record, I had to do lots of stuff. That's not the way it is anymore for me. So it makes my life a lot easier. I hope that makes sense. So the whole point here is that, read through. Oh, and here's another little tip. I do this. I love it. Some people like other things, but when you're reading, inevitably, all right, you're going to mess up. So what I like to do is I do like a modified punch and roll to keep going. And this is just something that I do because I started out this way because I didn't know any different. But what it means was if I messed up, I literally stop, go back to the beginning of the sentence, start over and keep going. I don't personally use a dog clicker, although I did at some points. And when I do super long narration, if it's tough, I will pull out the dog clicker because there does come a point where you got to just keep the rhythm going and it can be hard constantly stopping. But if you're doing something like 2,000 words, it might be helpful to just stop. So that way you can get through the whole thing recorded. You don't have to keep going back and forth into your booth or wherever you record from. So those are just some tips, but a lot of it does come down to how much practice and stuff you're doing. I would fear that if you say like the biggest sharks, or if there's some sort of, a lot of, scientific terms in there, that could slow you down. There's nothing you could do about that unless you are really good at knowing those. So, all right. Dave says, I love getting orders while watching Anthony. I know, Dave, I was watching, my phone is here. I was getting some orders too. It's a good feeling. I am the VO guy, says, good to be here. You too, my man. Sean says, yeah, sharing is caring. Absolutely. Clint, that spreadsheet would be appreciated. Clint, you are all about it, my man. Judy says, can I get a spreadsheet? I will work on that. Martin says, is the description field of my gig in the description field of my gig, may I write the word YouTube, or as a brand name, Fiverr won't accept that? You mean like YouTube? Yeah, you can write like I do YouTube videos. That's fine. You just don't want to put links to YouTube. Okay. Zelby, hi, I miss you, bruh. Greg, I miss you, fam. Okay. Zelby, I'm not sure. Sorry. Voiced by Jason. Hey, Anthony, good stuff as always. Thank you, Jason. Zelby, hi, Jason. So are you. Frank says, yeah, lots of post editing mouth clicks and mistakes slow me down. I edit after each number, then continue. And that does. And I will say this, Frank, I don't know how long you've been at this, but you will get better at that. Okay. As time goes on, you'll get better at it. When I first started, my mouth clicks were insane. I thought I was ready to pull out the little bit of hair I have left. But as I've gone along, the longer I do this, I'm better at not doing mouth clicks, like just in general. And it's not like I can't, like I could sit here and tell you drink water, suck on lemons. I don't do any of that. I drink coffee and Diet Pepsi all day. I'm being real. I'm not gonna lie to you. All right. And it is what it is. Now, do I have some fancy mouth clicker? Do I have a fancy mouth clicker plugin? Absolutely, I do. I love technology. Let's see. The title of my gig, may I write the word YouTube? Okay, so we just answered that. All right, let's go. We've got some stuff over on Instagram. Let's see. SM says, well said. It's a step-by-step process after all. Absolutely. How do you manage your workflow? We talked about that. If you want to high price wise unknowingly once. Oh, if you went to high price wise unknowingly once, does that ruin your rep forever? Too high? No, just you can keep it there or change your prices. It's okay. The cool thing is you're going to constantly get traffic, okay? And you can always just reset things, try something else, add another gig, you know what I mean? And it will refresh itself. That's the wonderful thing about Fiverr. So yeah, so don't stress about that one bit. Absolutely not. I've done it and I've had to lower my prices. That's how I learned that I only ever move up in $5 increments, because I found that the many times where I moved up $10, $15, $20 all at once, it was not a good way I lost way too much business than I wanted to. Okay? Yeah. Let's see. Zelby, what do you think about cracked bundles? What do you mean? I'm sorry. What do you mean by that, Zelby? I'm not sure I understand. Let's see. Martin said, I'm still having trouble knowing I'm still having trouble knowing for certain orders whether I should ask for commercial rights or full broadcast rights or both. For example, if someone orders me a voice for a YouTube video explainer. So, remember, and this is the simple way to understand it. And Fiverr has made it more confusing, but they're trying to help us make more money and in turn them more money. But basically, and if you go to my rate guide, that helps a lot too. But in the end, commercial rights should be added 99% of the time, okay? Because if anyone is using it for business purposes, okay, it's commercial in its intent. Even though it sounds like someone's using it for a commercial because it says commercial rights, but really what it's meant to be is it's for commercial purposes. Right? Meaning like it's for commerce, it's for business. All right. Now, broadcast means that people are actually paying to get views, right? They're broadcasting your voice and paying for an ad. So broadcasting would be TV or radio, no doubt, because you have to pay to get on those platforms. And on the internet, they can post it to YouTube or Instagram or whatever, but if they pay to have that promoted, like on Facebook, or they pay pre-roll, like for example, they do a pre-roll ad on YouTube, that has to be broadcast rights. Okay. But if they're not doing that and they're just posting it to their channel, then that's commercial rights. Does that make sense? So it's really what they're doing with it that matters. That's why when you go to other rate guides, there's like how many, when you license it, it's like, is it for 1 million people, 10 million people, 20 million, right? Because it's talking about how many people you're paying for to see it. Okay. Whereas when you post that to just a website, you can't quite be sure how many people are seeing it. So that's how that's justified. Hope that helps. Okay, plugins. Okay, I like the Isotope series, like Isotope, and Elements is usually the cheapest. I got the standards because honestly, it's expensive, but the mouth clicker remover and the standard is miles better than the one in Elements. But Elements is a great place to start. For a while, I did use NS1, and sometimes I use it occasionally for whatever reason if something's happened. But for the most part, my rack contains all isotope plugins. Greg, beginner DAW Audacity. Some pros use it too, but I'm poor, so it's a free DAW. Yes, and I'm actually finishing up. I know I've been preaching this, but I'm finishing up my course on Audacity. All right, guys. Well, let's go ahead and bring this to a close. Are there any other questions here? Awesome. I was worried. That's awesome. Good job, Hesham. Walters, good to have you. I bought the RX-7 for pops and mouth clicks, and latency was awful, so I couldn't use it as a plugin today. Oh, that's your latency is awful. So I'll be honest with you, Frank. I'm not a wizard, but for latency purposes, are you talking about your latency was so bad that you couldn't get it uploaded into your system? Okay, I see what you're saying. Well, unfortunately, depending on what computer you have and how much processing power or speed, these plugins and your DAW do take up a lot of processing power. So that's why, and we don't talk about this enough, and I thank you for bringing it up, Frank, but your computer, actually, of all the equipment that we have, the computer itself is by far, you could say, the most important piece of equipment, actually. Right? I mean, I think your computer has to be. So like of all the equipment I bought, I spent by far the most money on my computer. I bought the most expensive computer I could at the time, which was I bought the new, I didn't buy the iMac Pro, but I bought the one right below it, the 27-inch with the 5K Retina, whatever, all that crazy jazz. But I bought it because the processing power needed to do these things quickly is really important. So Frank, I would say that okay, you have a delayed Mac Mini. So Mac Minis are okay, but if you have an older one or it's not, the processing power on your Mac Mini is not up to speed for it, you're going to struggle with some of these things. So that is a really good thing to mention. Your computer really does come into this. Can I edit certain weird gigs I'd rather not have in my live portfolio? No, you can't. Unfortunately, that is something that the only thing, you can't. I know it stinks, but you can't. Yeah. All right, you guys, thank you so much for watching today and stopping by and spending your time with me. If you want, I would love for you to check out and have you in the Fiverr Elite group. We meet, like I was talking about, every Saturday morning. We've got many top-rated sellers in that group, lots of people. We all work together to help each other. I do reviews. Now, I know the analytics haven't been posted recently, but, we do use stats and we do go over all these things to help grow each other's businesses. And you know what I love most about that group is we go through every week and we see tons of us always at the top of the search pages. So I feel so blessed to be a part of a group of people who are making it happen on Fiverr. So if you want to join that group, we'd love to have you. And we'll have a link below in the YouTube or on my website, avosjourney.com. All right. And other than that, thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. You have a wonderful weekend. Stay healthy, stay safe, and I will see you soon. All right. Goodbye.